energy of all of us is bringing light to all the world right now, and we're bringing light to all the world right now.
The law of attraction is similar to the law of love.
I think that life and the world is very, very synchronistic.
And realize there is no death.
We are living simultaneously in many different levels.
Crystal skulls are living beings.
For any of us to ever think that we're the only ones here on planet Earth is about the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
And remember who you are. Remember who you are. Remember who you are.
Is everybody here, would they like to make a small change in their life? Yes? How about major change in your life? Yes, yes? Ah, well, you are in the right place, okay? I'm Cathy Brown, and I'm a seeker, a teacher, a mother. In fact, this is one of my beautiful daughters, Christine. She's helping me today. I am also a grandmother, and I am an animal lover. In fact, that was my first collie. Aww. Yep, that was Bonnie, and that's me at age 2. And you see, I am a natural blonde. At least I was. Now I need a little help. These are my current collies, Leo and Zen. And you can see they have a rough life. They really have a rough life. But you know, I wanted to give you a little personal background, and now I'd like to give you a little professional background. I am a law of attraction life coach. I'm a Reiki Master, a hypnotherapist, as well as a speaker and teacher, and I have a master's in business administration. In fact, I spent the bulk of my adult career with Morgan Stanley as a senior vice president. So my coaching is a little unique because I have the pragmatic business background as well as the spiritual principles. So I combine them together to help people get to where they want to be. So I serve by coaching individuals, teaching online classes, personal business mentoring, and speaking and teaching. I do a lot of these metaphysical expos. I've been on many telesummits, and hopefully you may have heard of some of them. And you know, I've been very, very lucky, very fortunate, because I have been mentored by 2 of the industry leaders. Both Christy and Lisa are best-selling New York Times best-selling authors, and Christy Whitman is the founder and CEO of the Quantum Success Coaching Academy. And Lisa Nichols is a world-renowned motivational speaker, and her company is Motivating the Masses. So I've been really, really lucky. And I also, gotta brag just a little bit, I am a best-selling author as well. This is my new book on Amazon. It came out in July. It is available here at the show, also on Amazon, and also on Amazon you can get it in the digital format. You know, that's a lot of brags, right? But you know, I wasn't always that way. Absolutely not. You know, I used to be the Cathy who struggled as a single mom with 2 beautiful daughters. I used to be the Cathy that I found my self-worth dependent on how much money I made. I see somebody shaking your head. Yes, you can relate to that. When I was making big bucks at Morgan Stanley, I thought I was on the top of the world. But when the money went away, so did my self-worth. So that was not helpful at all. You know, I was always kind of second guessing myself. You know, am I doing the right thing? Where do I go next? What's going on? And even one time, I had to sell my favorite Christmas present one year, a pair of brand new skis, to pay my car insurance. That's when I hit rock bottom. You know, and also, it wasn't just that. I changed careers a lot. I started as a teacher. I went into sales and corporate management. I worked at real estate. I even worked at a bank. And my last position was a college placement director. And you know, interesting enough, I knew I should get out of that last position, but I stayed. You ever stay too long at a party or too long at a job? I started getting back pains to the point where I needed 2 back surgeries. So that kind of helped me understand what's going on. You know, it took me a long time to get where I'm at, because my desire has always been to help encourage other people to grow. But I couldn't do that unless I did the internal work to grow myself. And today I'm very happy, probably as happy as I've ever been. And you know the best part? It has absolutely nothing to do with money. That's a big, big change for me. And you know, now that it's not that important in my life, it's much more abundant in my life. So it really is a wonderful thing. And now, because I went through the work, I feel I can help others to do the same thing. Okay? So I'm really appreciative that you're here today. So before we get started, I've got some free gifts. Now, if you've already come to my booth and signed up, you won't get double copies because you don't want to get too much email stuff. However, I'm also giving out today 3 of my books as a door prize. So you all probably have a little half sheet of paper. If you could kindly put your name and your email address on that, and could you kindly fold that up, and then Christine will come around, and then at the end, yep. Hopefully you all enjoyed your spiritual candy. Now some people are going to say, spiritual candy? That's M&Ms. But you know, I had one of my mentors tell me one time, explain why it's spiritual candy. Have you ever noticed when you open the M&Ms up, they're all different colors? Red, blue, brown, yellow, all different colors. But in the center, it's all chocolate, all the same. Think about us here. We're all different. Some are young, some are more mature. We have light colored hair, we have dark. Everybody's different. But what do we all want? We all want to be heard. We want love. We want abundance. We want joy. So we're all M&Ms. So that's why it's our spiritual candy. All right, have we collected all of these so far? Yep, everybody got one in? Outstanding. So let's get started, because we came here to find out 5 foolproof steps to create what you want in your life. So let's get started. Step 1 is clarity and focus. Let me ask you a question. Have any of you ever decided I'm going on vacation and packed all your bags, got all your kids in the car, no idea where you're going, hopped in the car, drove to the airport, right? Got out of the airport, went right to the ticket agent and said, I want a ticket. What do you think the ticket agent would say? Well, where do you want to go? Okay? You know, I think a lot of us spend more time on planning our vacations than we do in planning our lives. Anybody ever feel that way? Some of us have no idea. We kind of go with the flow. And some of us, you're laughing, it's you got a flower here. And some of us maybe have too many different directions. We go too many different places. So the first step in creating what you want is to decide what it is you want. Because how do you know if you've gotten there if you don't know where you're going? So what I'd like to do is have you think about 3 questions. Now in my book there are 7 questions, but because of time constraints we're going to do 3. Everybody think right now, what activities make you lose track of time? Think about that for a minute. Anybody have any activities? What makes you lose track of time? TV. Aha, TV. Anybody agree with that? Yes. Anybody else? Yes?
Social media.
Oh God, yes, social media. Once I get on the computer, I'm on there for hours. Anybody else? Yes? I'm sorry? Horseback riding, that's a good one. Okay, that's the number one question. Another question is, if you had to teach something, what would you teach? What do you love so much or have so much passion about that you'd love to teach? I'm doing it right now. What things would you like to teach? Any volunteers?
I would teach preventive methods like preventive medicine and things like that.
Wonderful. So prevent rather than have to cure. Excellent, excellent. Yes? Understanding. Wow, that's very broad and very deep at the same time. Absolutely. And then the third question would be, I love this one, what would you be doing if you had more money than you could spend? Yeah.
I would have my own business.
And what would it be?
Well, I want to create a spiritual retreat center.
Wow, sign me up. Okay, you see where we're going with these questions? We're trying to get the focus into one area, because the second part of this first step is focus. But in order to focus, we need to dig a little deeper, because we may have narrowed down our choices a little bit, but I want you to start with one choice. So think about some of the answers, all right? And then, why do I want it? And number two is, how will I feel when I have it? Now, this isn't just, yeah, I'm going to feel good. No, no, no. I mean down deep, how you're going to feel. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. And then the second part of that is that focus. I have a little saying I like, put your attention on your intention. And your intention is your goal. It's kind of like a song. Put your attention on your intention, right? Attention on the intention. And when we do that, we are creating the essence of what we want. And the essence is very important, because what you want to think about this is, behind every desire, there is an essence to experience, or a longing to experience a certain feeling. Now, if I would ask someone, why you go to work? Well, I got to pay my mortgage, I got bills to pay. Yeah, but that's not an essence, that's not your passion. Your essence is your self-worth, maybe self-satisfaction, a feeling if you have something, and this could be like a new house, a new car, not necessarily a relationship or a job, it could be anything. It's an internal satisfaction. Maybe you feel you're contributing to a larger cause. Now, I'd like to share one with you. You got to promise not to laugh, okay? Because back in my Morgan Stanley days, I was very materialistic. This was my vision. I had always wanted a sports car. And for clarity, not any sports car. I wanted the Lexus SC430 hardtop convertible. Man, isn't that cool? Silver, black interior. And I obsessed on this. I wanted this, okay? So I started myself feeling the essence. Now, bear with me a minute, okay? Let me go back a few years, because I didn't have this until year 2000. That's when I got it. And my essence was, I could actually feel myself sitting in that car before I got it, closing that door, hear that new car sound, smelling that new car, zipping down the freeway, hair blowing in the breeze, you got it? I was in Florida, so smelling that sand and that sea salt air, man, that feeling of freedom, right? I got it, man, I made it. That's the essence. Now, here's one little small catch, okay? It's easy to get those feelings when you already have the object, yes? Absolutely. But the key is to create that feeling of essence before you have the object of your intention. Because if you can get that emotional attachment, it starts to come to you. But how? Well, we need to talk a minute about energy. Everything is energy. That's quantum physics. That's been proven. Now, you're energy, I'm energy, the chairs we're sitting on, even my dogs are energy. However, nothing is solid. It looks solid, but in actuality, it's tiny little flashes of energy going back and forth, okay? Also, your thoughts are energy. And your vibrations, your thoughts become vibrations, and they go out into the world. And that's where step number 2 comes in. And these are the universal laws. We're going to talk about 3 of them. The law of attraction, deliberate creation, and allowing. And the law of attraction, how many here have heard about the law of attraction? Oh yeah, okay. We know about this. It simply means like attracts like. So bear with me. We start with our thoughts. Thoughts become vibration, energy vibrations. They go out into the universe like tiny little magnets, collecting like thoughts. So what happens if you got negative thoughts? I can't pay the bills. What is going to come back to you? You're going to get lots of money that way? I don't think so. You're probably going to get more bills you can't pay. Like attracts like. So what happens is your inner reality, your inner thoughts, that creates your outer reality. Now that's good and bad, right? The bad part, or maybe the hard part, is you now know you are totally responsible for your life. No, can't blame anybody else. Can't blame your boss if you don't like your job. Can't blame your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. It's you. If you are unhappy, you are the one that needs to make the changes to become happy. All right? You're totally responsible. That's kind of the hard part, but let me tell you the good part is you choose your own thoughts. That's the law of deliberate creation, the second of the universal laws. And the cool part about this is you can choose what you want to think. If you all of a sudden choose a negative thought and you want to take that and change that around, you can do that. But let me ask you, how do you know what you're sending out? Simple. How do you feel? I say take a gut check. Usually, if you are sending positive thoughts out, you're going to feel happy, right? Light and airy, things are going well. But if you're sending negative thoughts out, how are you going to feel? What do you think? How would you feel when you're thinking negative thoughts out? Sluggish. Yeah, sluggish, down and out, depressed, Now, as soon as you feel yourself doing that, right away, as soon as you can, try to change into a positive thought. Go to your happy place. Have a thought that you can always go to that makes you smile, okay? Because it's kind of like quicksand. Anybody know what quicksand is? Quicksand is like negative thoughts. If you get in quicksand and you keep walking, what's going to happen? Yeah, you're going to be up to your neck in quicksand before you know it. So as soon as you feel a negative thought, right away switch to a positive one. That's called pivoting. So there are 3 ways to create abundance, or to create manifest, or just create exerely. The first one is you ask, and that is the deliberate creation. You're sending your thoughts out, you're asking. The second part of this is that you are given it. In other words, the law of attraction states you ask with your thoughts, and then the universe answers. And the third step you would think would be the easiest, right? But actually it's the most difficult. It's you receive it. Accepting is what is, and then move forward. Let me explain what that means, okay? In order for you to receive things, you need to first of all accept what you have, okay? Let's say, for example, I have a pair of old tennis shoes on, and I really want those $300 Nikes. Really want that. And I don't like my shoes, I want the Nikes. Am I accepting? No. If I can accept, at least I have shoes. A lot of people in the world don't. If I can accept that and ask, may I have a nicer pair, then it will work out. Accept what is, and then make what you want. As I said here, I have a sign. It is what it is, but it will become what I make it. And there are 3 relationships that you need to work with in allowing. The first one is with yourself, with others, and with the universe. Now, I go through all these in detail in the book, but for time's sake, I want to focus on the last one, because in my opinion, that's the most important. That's your relationship with the universe. Now, you can feel that as being God, maybe, or the universe in general, or your inner self, or however you want to think about that. So to work with the universe, you need step 3, and that's trust. And I love this. Trust means to rely upon spirit totally. T-R-U-S-T, to rely upon spirit totally. And you see how important trust is? What's going to happen to that lady if she doesn't trust him? She's going to hit flat on her back, right? So the idea is to trust your creating partner. And let me explain how that works. start small with your trusting, with your asking for help. True story. I used to have a client, I'll call him David, and one time at one of our sessions, I was telling David about the law of attraction. And he said, oh, I want to try that. That sounds like fun. So I said, great. I said, think of something you want, get real clear on it, focus, and really trust and believe that it can come to you. He says, I got it. Next week in our session, he comes to me and he says, Cathy, that's a bunch of hooey. That's crap. That stuff doesn't work. And I said, well, David, what did you ask for? And he got kind of sheepish and he says, I asked for the $80 million lottery on Saturday night. Kind of a big ask for the first time, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. But I asked him, I said, did you truly believe you could get that? He goes, oh, no way. I said, well, there's your disconnect. I mean, you can say, I'm going to win, I'm going to win, I'm going to win, but if you don't think it, you don't believe it, it's the thoughts that are attracting. Now, it's very possible to win that if you truly have the trust. But my suggestion would be, if everybody wants to try this, start small. When I first started, what I did is every time I went to the mall, I set my intention on finding a good parking spot close to the stores that I wanted to visit. And lo and behold, I got it. Now, in the scheme of things, that's not a huge accomplishment. But what did it do? It built trust. And after I did that a few times, I got a little more bold and brazen. I asked for it to find that perfect outfit and the price that I wanted in a short amount of time. And that started to happen. And you see how you slowly build your trust, slowly believe more and more, and then it happens. So trust is really the link. Because what happens, unless it's a very minor request like the parking spot at the mall, it usually takes a little time for it to materialize. That car, that Lexus convertible, that took me 6 months to materialize. A lot of things had to happen. But during that time period, you need to keep the faith and keep the trust the whole time. Because if you all of a sudden say, that's never going to happen, there goes your vibrations. So trust is what you do in the time between when you ask and when you receive. And also, the bigger the ask, a lot of times it takes a little bit longer. For example, I had to, and I explain this in my book, I had to be transferred to Florida. I had to get a promotion in my job so I could afford it. And it took 6 months to make the car because it was brand new. So I had to keep that trust for that whole time. I'd like to share a story with you now. It's a very personal, kind of vulnerable story about how I really developed the trust. Okay? If you have a tissue, you might need it. I might need it. About 3 years ago, my mom and dad passed away. Dad passed away in 2013, and mom almost 2 years later in 2014, toward the end of the year. And their desire was to be cremated and keep the ashes and then have them spread together any place the family would want. Well, that sounds great, but where to spread them? Where to spread them? Well, my whole family got together, and my 2 beautiful daughters, their husband, and a total of 6 grandchildren to decide what we're going to do. And we finally came up with the Park of Roses. Anybody been to the Park of Roses in Columbus? Beautiful. And my mom's favorite flower was a rose. So it made perfect sense. So what happened is we scheduled to get together in mid-June when the roses were in bloom to then spread the ashes. And you know, since I was now the matriarch of the family, I wanted to have a nice little presentation, have a little speech, and that sort of thing. And anybody who knows me knows that I practice and practice and practice and practice. To the extent as when I used to give seminars at Morgan Stanley when my girls were little, I would practice in the kitchen and use a bread box for my podium. Anybody remember bread boxes? You're showing your age. And I would practice so much that in the middle of my talk, my girls, who were then probably 4 and 7, would walk in and say, "Stop, Mom," and say my next sentence. So I would practice. So I was writing my speech and I couldn't get anything done. I was blocked and I was getting so frustrated. It was killing me. Couldn't figure out what's going on. Then all of a sudden I heard this little voice. "Cathy, stop. Trust. I will help you with the words when the time is ready." And I thought, it's time for me to walk my talk. So I did that. So the day came when we were going to spread the ashes, and of course it was teeming raining all day long. I kept thinking, well, do we focus? Do we not? Do we cancel? What should we do? And then once again, I heard the voice, and it said, Cathy, set your intention and trust.